Hey y'all, Bay here, bringing you Captain Tsubasa Dream Team, and as it's on the thumbnail and the title, I'll be doing the evaluation for this time's Asia qualifier Morisaki. So is this guy good? So on this Excel, he is on the very right, and as a comparison, I brought Face Wakabayashi on the very left, and in the center, Face Wakashimazu. The reason why I brought these two is because I thought it would be better to do a comparison between the top tier Japanese goalies to see how good this Morisaki is. So as you can see, this guy, I know there was rumors that this guy was coming and this guy looked very attracting, but after looking at the details, we found out that he was super evenly balanced, right? And as a result, his both catch and punch, there's only 200 difference. And so they're both at a really high level. But as you can see, if you compare these two with Face Wakabayashi's better part of his punch and catch and better part of Wakashimazu, it will be not as good, but the difference is pretty close, right? But then, however, when you do the math, because his skills are not as good as Wakabayashi's and Wakashimazu's, this guy ends up to be 70k around. Yeah, for catch. And for punch, because he only has hit me anywhere, whatever you call it, S, which is now on this Morisaki, the S rank. Well, in the past there was one with when 2018 Morisaki, the treasure box one came, he had S rank, but I don't think it's easy for us to get this anymore. So it was good that they decided to put both two S's, punch and catch. But then catch is not bad. It's 485 at level 99, but punch, it's 455. And today, 455 skill power is, I can't say it's a good skill, to be honest, frankly speaking. So when you do the math after multiplying the skill power, it ends up to be, catch ends up to be 70k, and punch ends up to be 65k. So if you compare these to Wakabayashi and Wakashimazu's skills, you can tell that they're not, this Morisaki, frankly speaking, is not as good. And one more thing that makes this Morisaki really difficult to handle is because he has Asia qualifier link. The boost is big, 40%, but that in other words means if you don't get the less Asian qualifier characters in your team, the bigger decrease you get from the buff, right? Because 40% means each character in your team handles 4% each, right? So if you lack one character, that's minus 4%, 2 8%, 3 12%. That's pretty damn big, right? So when that happens, of course, if you look on the bottom where the cells are in red, I did 0 link, so there's no buff on the left. So where it says SGGK 485, where it says 502.99, that's when there's no Asian qualifier in the team. And whereas 70,422 is when everyone is Asia qualifier. So I'm pretty sure there's users that might want to use this Morisaki with the link in between these two. I can't put everyone Asia qualifier, but I can put 7 or something like that, right? So I was unable to do that calculation because it takes too much space. But even if you got full boost, his maximum stats is 70.04k. 70.4k. So yeah, that's the problem, I think. This guy has a really tough obstacle of getting the link, fully getting the link, right? For example, right? The problem with this link, I think, is I'm sure there's many people that's been giving black balls to all the Japanese characters. I think most people are giving spent their black balls to Japanese characters, and then maybe South American or European, right? But I don't think there's many people that's been giving Asian qualifier character that's not Japanese to black balls to these characters. I don't think there's many of those people. And when you try to build this Asia qualifier team, what's hard is, for example, right, you'll probably be able to put like Japanese characters that's Asia qualifier. You can, and then all you have to do is like use the removal card and take out the skills that you've been raising to another Misaki or another Aoi or another Tsubasa, and then give it to Asia qualifier Tsubasa, Misaki, Aoi, right? You can do that. And then instantly you'll be able to use these characters. But how about the other non-Japanese Asian characters? I don't think there's many people that's been raising these characters, especially to like level 99. So that means if you try to build this Asia qualifier team, you will find out that you'll have like players that's not raised places in some places, positions. And imagining that to happen, I think rather than building your team with Asia qualifier, I think it's better to go with the existing team skills or like teams. So it's really hard to build this team. And another thing is, even for the Japanese characters, I gave an example saying Misaki, use the removal card and give the skill from like for example WY Fest Misaki to Asia qualifier Misaki, or like 2018 Aoi to Asia qualifier Aoi, or like Fest Tsubasa to Asia qualifier Tsubasa. That is possible. But problem with this move is most of these Japanese characters are better. There's better characters when it's not Asia qualifiers. There's not so many good Japanese characters, better Japanese characters when it's Asia qualifiers. Like for Aoi, for example, 2018 Aoi is WY, and that guy is super strong. But if you look for Asia qualifier Aoi, there's only like the really old green Aoi, and if you do the comparison between these two, it's gonna be a big difference. Same story with Tsubasa, everyone. There's too many characters that are better. That's not Asia qualifiers. So looking from non-Japanese Asian both ways, Japanese and non-Japanese Asian, they're both. I think it's really hard to build this Asian team. I know, for people who got like Wakabayashi Asia qualifier, or like Sho or Tsubasa from the 20 million download campaign, you'll be able to probably build 45% team. But then even with this 45%, I think it's just too hard. And because of this reason, this Morisaki will not. It's just too hard for him to get the maximum boost to perform this 70k power STGK. So it's gonna be too tough. And one more thing is Dream Collection Morisaki. Him with full body stand, 100%, 30%. When he gets the 30% boost, his total catching power is 71 point something. Okay, so that Morisaki already exceeds this fully linked Morisaki. So if you compare to all the existing characters, it makes me feel that this Morisaki, I personally think, is not something you should go after that hard. Yeah. And of course, one thing that's good, but that's if you're able to give him the full 40% link. One thing that's good is he has no weakness. Like for example, Wakabayashi, he's weak against Japanese. Wakashimazu, he's weak against non-Japanese or non-Asian, right? So they're boost. Overall stats. For example, Wakashimazu, when he's strong, his overall stats is like 75k. But when he's against like non-Asian, he's gonna go down to like 65k. Right? Whereas this Morisaki, as long as the link is maintained, you get 70k. So, yeah. If you compare this Morisaki to each one of these Fest characters' weaker part, of course this Morisaki is better. But what I think is most important about goalies is what are you strongest at and how strong are you on that, And today, like even for me, I can have both Wakabayashi and Wakashimazu and even Mueller on bench, and they all have pretty damn high level on the very strong skills. So like let's say I'm using Wakabayashi as a starter and I found out my opponent is like Japanese. all I have to do is from second half I switch Wakabayashi to Wakashimazu or Mueller. That will solve everything. You know, of course, for the first half I have to play with disadvantage, but you know, if I do that, you know, I don't really need Morisaki. That's my point. Morisaki, it has no weakness, but for me, like Wakabayashi has weakness, but if I find out the weakness, I just have to change. That's all. You know, today I think many people can do that because Cloud's been giving out so many black balls. So unless you're like you started from 20 million download recently and you only have strong characters that you have are like Wakabayashi, Tsubasa, and Sho, then of course, you know, there are, for those who's I don't think there's many, but for people who's been raising Asia qualifier characters or who can build their team, in that team might be better for some people, but unless it's like that, I don't think this Morisaki will replace other super strong goalies or like, yeah. So my personal opinion is yeah, that. So I hope you liked the video. Please do subscribe for those who haven't yet, and this is it for this time. Okay, thanks for watching and bye.